I was for the better. How God came in the flesh, that's how I came.
All right, bro.
Amen.
Good to see you. Shabbat shalom. You got Sharala? By so much go shy. I praise the Most High by so much go shy. To an Israelite scattered to the four corners of the earth. My name is Elapalad. And to my left is Captain Amawan. And we are the Light of Zion, located down here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Bringing the word of the Most High to an Israelites, to the 12th tribe of Israel.
Yes, sir.
And
7 days.
Exactly, God. To work to the Most High for another Sabbath day where we can come together in holy convocation as per the covenant that they made with our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, okay, which was confirmed in us, the children of Israel, in captivity to this day. On today's topic, we're going to go over the Revelation chapter 12 and the various timelines that may be implied or applicable to this chapter. Let's start off with Colossians 3 verse 17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the one of Yahushua, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
Right. Whenever you do the word or deed, man, if it's an action or just something, your meditation and your thoughts, make sure they are consistent with the commandments of the Most High, the testimony of the Mashiach Yahushua, and the word of the Most High. Everything that conform to the Most High's commandments, testimonies, and Mashiach Yahushua.
That's why I went the first time. I went to my Colossians. I was flavor name it was. That's right here.
Got it? Revelation 12. Revelation 12, verse 1.
So that's it. Yeah, sure.
Yahushua,
Okay, 12.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Right, and there appeared a wonder, a great wonder in heaven, like a miracle, like, something spectacular, something that anyone never expected to see. What is that? That's amazing. What am I seeing here? It's something I've never been told of before, something I've never seen before. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. Now get me, who's a woman? The woman is not an actual woman. The woman is actually the nation of Israel. Get Jeremiah 6 and 2 to see. And the Most High, Jeremiah 6 and 2, and also Isaiah 54 and 5. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon on her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Jeremiah 6 and 2, right?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6, verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. See,
Moses said he had likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So the Moses always, from time to time, the Moses always, express or identify or portray the nation of Israel as a woman, because what? Then he what? It also has Isaiah 54 and 5. He also said what? He's our husband. And if he's our husband, then what? Then we are a wife.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 5. Mm-hmm. For thy maker is thy husband.
For thy maker, who's our maker? The Most High Yahweh is our maker. For our maker is our husband. Understand? And if our maker is a husband, then we got to be the nation of Israel, that we just read in Jeremiah 6 and 2, is that the Most High said, a comely, delicate woman. Comely, delicate because beautiful. Or delicate is we're vulnerable. All the vulnerable. We got easily damaged. We may damage to our generations, man. Different captivities, oppression, and all that, slaughter, and all that. That's how we got damaged. Read.
The Most High of Hosts is his name.
The most read first chapter again, Isaiah 54 and 5.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband.
That's the Most High. The Most High is our husband or maker. Read.
The Most High of Hosts is his name.
The Most High of Hosts is his name. Yahweh is his name. Read.
And thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the power of the whole earth, shall he be called.
Right. And our Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the power of the earth. That's our Redeemer right there. Our redemption being what? Being brought bought back, or make reconciliation for. That's going to be done by the Most High through the Mashiach Yahushua. Understand? That's how we're going to be redeemed and reconciled back to the Most High through the Mashiach Yahushua. The Most High. Let's go back to Revelation 12 now. And I spent there to explain how Israel is a woman right here in Revelation 12 and 1. A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. The sun and the moon, that's talking about our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Why? Because that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding was given to us, what? Through the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High gave to us.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Upon her head a crown of 12 stars. How many tribes in the nation of Israel? 12 stars. Exactly. So the woman is the nation of Israel. Upon her head a crown of 12 stars. We're princes. Understand? Right now, in captivity, and we call all kind of derogatory names, big sweatbacks, niggas, and all so on and so forth, and be treated like we're the worst of the worst. But in actuality, we're princes, and when the Most High, the Mashiach Yahushua, bring us back into prominence, rulership. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna recognize what the kings and queens, princes and princesses. Read.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. So I'm going to put this in two different perspectives to explain. Shiva is like, in the first instance, it's like an analogy. Understand? The nation of Israel, which is the Most High identified, portrayed as a woman, being a child is like a woman in labor, go through the pains of being in labor, just wanting to deliver the child so she can relieve herself of the pain. The same way Israel at this time. John the Revelator was getting this revelation. You were under the Romans. The Romans were oppressing us. The Romans were been oppressing us for a while now, and they've been oppressing us from like 66 BC. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, up until the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, the Romans have been oppressing us, and we're going to be delivered from the oppression. So the Most High said, and she being with child cried, travailed in birth, and pain to be delivered. That's what the Most High portrayed Israel. Being in oppression, want to be just like right now, us Israelites, man, especially the ones who have this knowledge, we see the oppression going on. A lot of people, they don't understand that we came from glory. It came from rulership. We came from a situation where we used to be the dominant force in earth. But right now we are like at the bottom. Understand? So that's what most I said what oppression make a wise man mad. So if you're wise to our history and the knowledge and wisdom of the Most High, he probably ain't gonna be mad. But the ones of us who the Most High woke up, give this knowledge to, we are mad as hell. Right. And we're paid to be delivered. Understand that? Now right now we're paid to be delivered from the oppression we are under from the various nations, man. Knowing that we should be ruling them. Read.
Verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Right. And there appeared another wonder, another spectacular sight in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. 7 heads and 10 horns. What is that talking about? It's talking about Edom, the various nation that came out of Esau. Understand? The 7 heads and 10 horns. Talking about Greece, Rome, Spain. Different nations of so all those so-called European nations right now, and you see out there right now, they all came out, various nations that came out of Esau, the so-called white man. When you talk about Jacob and Esau, I'm talking specifically to the new brother coming in, so you can understand. I'm familiar with it. Yeah, 7 heads and 10 horns. So y'all got the first. I'm going to go in order of the rulership. Got Greece. That was the first so-called Edomite nation that came to rulership with Alexander the Greek. Understand? When he came into rulership, then you have the Greek, then Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Understand? Those same heads. Those same heads. The same heads. That's talking about sovereignty, rule kingdoms. 7 and 10 horns. 10 horns also are. Go ahead.
So that's in order how they're like first to last.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, understand? And the 10 horns now are also the nations, are the European nations. 10 horns talking about the European Union, the EU. Understand? The 10 common markets. Okay, shut up, brother.
I'm coming back. I like.
Okay.
I like that. I love that.
And also, you're welcome, brother. Come back anytime.
Trust me, I'm right on the street.
Got it.
Y'all sure? All right,
shalom. Read verse 3 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Right. Having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. Of course, the crowns represent rulership. So these different Edomite nations ruled into the state. They have the sovereignty going on over there in Europe. 7 heads and 10 horns. They're rulership right now. Read.
Verse 4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven.
And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven. His tail drew just like a great dragon. If a dragon is gonna hit somebody or swipe at somebody, he's gonna hit you with his tail, right? More or less. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars. What are the stars of heaven again? What are the stars of heaven? Yeah, what are the stars of heaven? Exactly, the stars of heaven, the 12 tribes. Remember the woman having the 7 stars upon her head? The 12 stars represent what? The 12 tribes of Israel. So the stars of heaven is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, the old nation of Israel. and her tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. What does it say, the third part? What does the word third implies? One third, okay. What does actually third implies? That there are three parts, right? Now, what are the three parts of the nation of Israel at that time? Okay. The kingdom was split in two, right? The north and the south, which consists of 9 tribes. Israel is the 10 tribes, but Judah, we know that Levi came back. Then you have the southern tribe, which consists of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Okay, we knew that after the captivity, when we got released for the Persian Medes, understand? The 9 tribes or 10 tribes came over here, this side of the world, right? Then the southern kingdom went back to Jerusalem and rebuilt. So you have the 9 tribes that came over here. You have a portion of the 9 tribes that came over here. Then you have the southern kingdom that went back to Jerusalem. Then you have those who were scattered through the 4 corners of the earth. So there were 3. That's the 3 parts right there. So when it says, "And the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven," that third part is talking about the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. Understand? Because they were the ones under the Roman captivity. Because the Romans and Herod, starting with basically with Herod, you're talking about the Mashiach Yahweh, was oppressing our people. Read.
Verse 4, the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 4. "And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered."
And the third part, with the third on the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and he cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered. Read.
"For to devour her child as soon as it was born."
Now, at this point, it's talking about the scripture is getting literal now. And I said it's not talking metaphorical anymore. Or it's not no longer an analogy. It's talking literal, the literal sense. It's talking about the actual birth of the Mashiach Yahweh. Understand? Because let's get Matthew chapter 2. Start in verse 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 2, verse 1. "Now when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where a Mashiach should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel."
Right. That was prophesied in Micah 5, verse 2. Okay, that's where that's coming from. Right. So the wise men who were aware of the scripture knew that Mashiach Yahweh was about to be born. So they came inquiring about the Mashiach Yahweh's birth. Read.
Verse 7. "Then Herod when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child. And when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till they came and stood over where the child was.
Of course, everybody wasn't interested in worshiping the Mashiach Yahushua. Herod was a king of was proclaimed king of Judea by the Romans. And now it's hearing that there's going to be another king in Jerusalem. Of course, he got jealous of that. So what he was intending to do was inquire the Mashiach Yahushua's birth so he could kill him. Read.
Verse 11. Verse 10. And when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of the Most High in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country.
Right, so when the wise men, they came to the location where the Mashiach Yahushua was born, and they gave him all those gifts, which was right for a king. And of course, and then the most side warned them, hey, this guy Herod is up to no good. He's not intended to worship the Mashiach Yahushua, he's actually want to kill him. So they told the Mashiach, the Most High told us that the wise men in a dream to go take another route. Don't go to Herod, take another route. Right?
Verse 13. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Most High appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt. And be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed to Egypt.
Right. So this story go back to Revelation. Right. You see what the scriptures to prove that how they were trying to devour the child before it was born. That's Herod, the instruction of the Romans trying to devour the Mashiach Yahushua before it was born. Because what? They are one of the lineage of this great dragon, the Edomite nation, the so-called white nation today. And that was the intention to destroy the Mashiach Yahushua, to kill the Mashiach Yahushua. And this talking about right now we're talking about 4 BC, 2 BC, around there. That's when the Mashiach Yahushua was born. Right?
Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
That's the Mashiach Yahushua, with the word called Jesus Christ. He brought Mary, his mother, brought forth, who was conceived through sex with Joseph, brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. Understand me what? Enforcement of the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. That's how the Mashiach Yahushua was going to rule Israel and all nations with a rod of iron. Understand? Having us conform to the Most High's commandments. Read.
And the woman fled into the wilderness.
And the woman fled into the wilderness that we just read in Matthew 2. But the Most High wanted Joseph and Mary to go into Egypt, to stay there. Because what? Herod was seeking to kill the Mashiach Yahushua. And so the Mashiach Yahushua, even though it says, even though we know what BC means before Christ, but according to the calculation of the Aries, it was actually born about 4 BC, according to how numerically things were calculated. Right? And Herod died just a couple of years after that. Read on.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of the Most High, that they shall feed her there 1,260 days.
And the woman, what verse is that?
6.
Verse 6. And the woman, read 5 again. I think you jump to part of 5.
Verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne.
And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto the Most High to his throne. Now, what is that talking about? Because the scripture keeps jumping from the past to the present. Understand that? It's like in one verse could span like decades. You know what I'm saying? It's not like in one verse talking about something that happens the same day or the same week. One verse could span like a whole day, could span decades. Understand? That's what that's talking about. So when he's talking about the Mashiach was born, then at the end of the same verse talking about how the child was caught up unto the Most High. Because when was the Mashiach caught up to the Most High? In Acts chapter 1. It's talking about after he was crucified and resurrected. What was it, like 33 years old? So you know what I'm saying? So we're talking like 30 somewhere like 80 decades after. Acts chapter 1. Chapter 1. Yeah, start go to verse 6.
The book of Acts, chapter 1, verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Out of one, wilt thou this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?
Right, that's the disciples coming together and conversating with the Mashiach Yahushua. It says, Out of one, wilt thou at this time restore the kingdom again to Israel? Because they knew that they used to be ruling. Understand? And they saw what was going on at that time, that the Romans were actually ruling them. So of course, we are even to this day, we are earnestly waiting for a restoration of the kingdom back to Israel, where we are ruling once again. So they were asking the Mashiach Yahushua, Out of one, will you again restore the kingdom back to Israel? What did Mashiach Yahushua say? Read.
And he said unto them, It is not for you to know the time or the seasons, which the Most High hath put in his own power.
Right? He said, only the Most High Lord knows the time or the season. Even the Mashiach Yahushua don't know when the Most High. I'm saying? So all we can do is hold fast, be patient, keep the Most High's laws, statutes, commandments, and patiently await the return of the Mashiach Yahushua. But just like the Mashiach Yahushua told the disciples back in that time, over 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, so it is not for them to know the time or the season. Only the Most High knows. Right?
But ye shall receive power after that the Holy Spirit is come upon you.
Right, but they should receive power after the Holy Spirit is come upon them. Because after the Mashiach Yahushua returned to the Most High, his disciples, they were doing basically the same miracles that Yahushua was doing. Even to the point that they could raise the dead. They could do all kinds of things, man, that the Mashiach Yahushua was doing. Just believing the Mashiach Yahushua, that's the power that the Holy Spirit had imparted upon the 12 disciples. That they could do the same miracles that the Mashiach Yahushua was doing. To what? To bring Israel back to the Most High. To believe, to sanctify the Most High through the Mashiach Yahushua. Because that was what the 12 disciples were doing. making people be aware of the Mashiach Yahushua. Of course, later on, Saul, who became Paul, was also assigned that responsibility for the Israelites who were scattered through the 12 outside of Jerusalem. Right?
And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea.
Right. So the disciples were witnesses of the Mashiach Yahushua in Jerusalem and in all Judea. They could honestly go to the Israelites and say, we saw the Yahushua do this. We saw him raise the dead. We saw him perform this miracle. We saw him heal the sick. We saw him restore sight unto the blind. We saw him cleanse the leper. We saw him do this and that and so on. Understand? So that people could believe in him. So they could, through repentance, get salvation. Read.
And in Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts of the earth. And when he had spoken these things, or they beheld, he was taken up.
Right. So that's when Mashiach Yahushua was taken up. In the presence of the disciples. After he was born, after he was crucified and resurrected. Now go back to Revelation. That was about 33 BC. 33 AD or so. 30 AD, somewhere around there. Read.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 5. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of the Most High, that she shall feed her, that they should feed her there 2,000. Like it. They shall feed her there 1,260 days.
Right, and the woman fled into the wilderness. See, in one chapter or even in one verse, things are got so consolidated, so summarized, so condensed. So it's not elaborated. You gotta have knowledge of the history and what conspired, what took place during that era of time to understand what this is talking about. Understand? So yeah, when we read this, we basically gotta put this in perspective and reference it to historical occurrences to understand what this is talking about. So when it's talking the woman, which is Israel, then into the wilderness. When did that happen? It's talking about when get Luke 21. It's talking about when the Romans occupied our homeland, we see the homeland destroyed our temple, and we destroyed our people. So we have to escape from them, we have to run into the wilderness, which is where? The west coast of Africa, for the most part. Even though we were sold into slavery throughout various parts of the world at that time, but for the most part, we run up in the west coast of Africa. So to be around people who look like us, and start to add from the Roman persecution. You can read about that and also in the book of Bible, I think it's about Rudolph Wilson. And this saw basically, for the most part, was like up to 70 AD and a little after that. And because after 70 the temple was destroyed in 70 AD, there was some holdouts, the Sakaris, in the temple of, Masada, a couple of years, 78, 70, 73, 80 or so, were reported that they committed suicide rather than gave up to the Romans. But for the most part, our people right up in the west coast of Africa gradually fled from a Roman persecution and gradually migrated across the continent of Africa till they went to the west coast of Africa and set up communities there for over 1,500 years. That's a woman fled into the wilderness where she had a place. Get Luke 21:20.
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 20. And when you should see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck, in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land. Right.
So, when you see the country, Jerusalem compassed about with armies, it's a road, know that desolation thereof is nigh. The Romans are compassing, surrounding, besieging the city of Jerusalem and all Judea. The armies for what? It's not a party. It's not a cookout. It's not a celebration. They're coming to destroy our servant, to destroy our country. The burn our temple, and that's what they did. So those who are outside of Jerusalem don't come back in. And those who are in, flee out. That's what they did. Same to 80, and a couple of years after that, in various parts of the world, for the most part, in the west coast of Africa. All right, read on.
23.
Go back to Revelation. Sorry. Revelation 12. Read it, say, verse 6 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,203 days.
But they fled into the wilderness, and from the wilderness, which is in Africa, we know the bulk of the slaves which came in to America and the Caribbean, South America, 1619, 1620. Understand? And we were under captivity under the so-called white men. Even though today we still under, even though the chains and shackles have been removed from our feet and necks and all that, but the truth, the truth was suppressed. We weren't able to, it was a crime, punishable by death, for us to learn to read. Understand? So, of course, if you're not able to learn to read and write, you're not able to search for things for yourself to even know your identity. You were forbidden to speak our own Hebrew or languages. And the Israelites who spoke different languages, coming out of the west coast of Africa, we weren't able to congregate together and live together. Just like in the Tower of Babel, in Genesis 11, when the Mosai confounded the language and it came with different languages. Because if you speak one language, you could always organize and so on and so forth. The same thing, the so-called white men, basically the same thing, the fact that they separated us as far as languages and all that, so we weren't able to communicate effectively with each other. So in the process of that, we lost our heritage. It was a crime for us to learn to read and write. So we weren't able to, from generation to generation, us losing our language or us losing our heritage. We didn't even know we were Hebrew Israelites. Of course, it was a remnant of our people who the most always retained the truth with. Understand? And the truth started coming back out in 1970. That's all in the read right there when it says that they should feed her there 1,203 days. 1,203 score. What is 3 score? 60. So 1,260. Okay, do the math on that. 1,000. 260. Little calculation. Let me get my calculator. That's basically talking about 350 years. So we're basically talking about from 1620 to 1970. And we know in 1970, that's when the truth started coming out and started being distributed on a wide scale. That's when people started waking up on a mass level. Understand? We know that we had the so-called civil rights movement back in the 50s and 60s. But people didn't know, most Israelites didn't even know they were, most of our people didn't know they were Israelites. The Israelites started, we started becoming aware that they were Hebrew Israelites about late 60s, 70s. Understand? That's the 350 years right there. 1,203 square days. Which is 350 years. From 1620 to 1970. Read on. Who got a question? Who legalized slavery?
Who did? Like, which part of the world, who authorized it? In 1960?
Well, that's when the truth, as far as the word of the Most High start coming to our people up, meaning that's when our people start being aware of the true identity. Because give me Isaiah 65:15. And also give me Jeremiah 17:4. Before give me Jeremiah 17:4 first. Because when we came over here and called the slave ships from west coast of Africa, understand? We were Hebrew Israelites, and we knew we were Hebrew Israelites. No. 1620. When slavery, 1620. Okay? When slavery, when most of the cargo slave ships moving into this part of the world from west coast of Africa, we knew who we were. If you saw the movie Roots, I don't know if people saw it, when they were meeting Kunta Kinte. Understand? Give me that name, Toby. He kept insisting that it was Kunta Kinte. They say Kunta Kinte, but of course, you have to the other. That's symbolic of us trying to retain our true identity. And the so-called woman trying to beat it out of us to give us a new identity, give us a new name. So we could not hold on to a true heritage. That's all documented out in the Bible. Get out, Jeremiah 17:4.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, should discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
You got a Bible over there, brother? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know the Bible like you.
Somebody give Jeremiah 17:4 so you can read it for himself. Find it. I want you to read it for yourself so it can resonate in your consciousness, in your mind. So you can connect with you. Or you can connect with it. Jeremiah 17:4. Read it again, huh?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 17, verse 4. And thou, even thyself, should discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee.
See, the Most High said, and thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from the heritage that he gave us. When you discontinue from the heritage that the Most High gave you, what does that say?
Stop. From your roots.
Yeah, from your roots, from your identity, your language, your culture, and all that.
Yeah.
You don't even know who you are anymore.
Yeah.
Understand? You don't know you're Hebrew Israelites anymore. Yeah. Just like today, if you ask what people the nationality, they don't know they're Hebrew Israelites. They say they're African. Because we all know we came from west coast of Africa, but who were we when we were in the west coast of Africa? Just because we came from Africa don't mean we are Africans like we know Africans to be today. We were actually the Hebrew Israelites who came from the land of Israel. But we went there in the west coast of Africa and the parts of Africa to escape from the Roman persecution. Understand? Of course, if they're going to hide from somebody, just like with Christ, when Herod was trying to seek to kill Christ, when Joseph and Mary take Christ, took him to Egypt, to hide from Herod, took him to a place where he could blend with the people, so he wouldn't stand out. Understand? The same thing what our people did. We went to the west coast of Africa to blend with the Africans. So the Romans are the nation which trying to pursue us, wouldn't easily identify us and find us, to slaughter us. That's our prophecy. Get also Isaiah 65 verse 15. So that's how we got this continued from our heritage. Understand? And also how we're going to read how the so-called white men and the other nations gave us these fake names: African Americans, Jamaicans, West Indians, Haitians, Puerto Ricans. You're not going to find those names in the Bible. And so the question arises then, if they're not in the Bible, where did they come from? Because every people on this earth today, understand, have a history. They came from people who were documented in the scripture. When you read this Bible, you see those different nations: Israel, Edom, Assyria, Syria, Greek, Romans, Moab, Ammon, Philistines, all that. They didn't disappear. They are descendants who are living to this day, but they're living under different names. Understand? So the question arises, so when we read of a country in today, so who were they back then? I'm going to read about our people today. So who were we back then? They don't want us to know who we were. We're going to read also Psalm 83. Get Isaiah 65, 15. Read it.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. Who's the chosen?
Israel.
Let me ask you, brother. Do you know who the chosen is? Get that. Okay, no problem.
The Jews, they are the chosen one, and then the curse.
Yeah, the Jews are the chosen, but we're the Jews. You got it?
The book of First Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 13. O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones.
Yeah. Read it again, huh?
The book of First Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 13.
First Chronicles, it's documented way back in the scriptures, way back in history. Read.
O ye seed of Israel.
O ye seeds of Israel. What's a seed? Descendant. Understand? Or you seed, like a plant as a seed is something that comes from plant. Yeah. So as far as people go, the seed are what? The children of your parents, the children of your ancestors. Or your seeds mean what? Descendants of our ancestors. We are the seeds of our ancestors. Or your seeds of Israel. We are the seeds of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Brazilians, Asian Puerto Ricans, Native Indians, Asians, Jamaicans, African Americans, Black and so on, all those names that we go by today, we are the seeds of our ancestors.
That's right.
Understand? We are the descendants of our forefathers. Read.
Of Israel, his servant.
Israel, we are the seed of Israel, the Most High servant. We are the Most High servant. Our forefathers were the Most High servants, and we are the Most High servants. So everything we do should be in the corner with serving the Most High. We're the Most High's work. Let our people know who they are. Let our people know that, hey, their whole duty is to keep the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read on. Hold on, question now. Read on.
Well, that was First Chronicles.
The book of First Chronicles, chapter 16, verse 13.
Okay.
O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones. He is the out of one, our power. His judgments are all in all the earth.
Ye children of Jacob, his chosen ones. It also 44:1. Right. So we are the chosen. Understand? You are the chosen. All of us in here today, descendants of the 12 tribes of Israel, we are the chosen servants of the Most High.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 44, verse 1. Yet now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen.
And Israel, whom I have chosen. So the Most High created all nations of this earth, but of all the nations he created, he chose one particular nation to be above all nations of this earth. And that nation that they chose, which is the nation of Israel, he gave this Bible to. The laws, statutes, and commandments. Understand? We didn't appreciate that over our time. We want to be like other nations, but other nations were jealous of us. And to this day, they are jealous of us. And they do everything to keep us away, keep the truth from us. They don't want you to know who you are. Go back to Isaiah 65. So when the scripture says, ye have they left a name for a curse unto the Most High's chosen. He's talking about particularly the so-called white man, who's the dominant force in modern history. And they were the ones, of course, who were ruling over us when we came over here and called the slave ships. And they were the ones who gave us these bywords: Jamaicans, Barbadians, Haitians, African Americans, blacks, and so on and so forth. They left their name, even the last names that we have today. They are the names of our slave masters, right? Because we got discontinued from our heritage. We didn't even know we Hebrew Israelites. We became the possession, and as possession, we got the last name of our slave masters, because to signify that what? We belong to them, we're their property. Understand? So they left a name for a curse. That's a curse. Those names signify the curse that was upon us for breaking the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments. Read it out, 65:15.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 15. And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen.
And ye, the so-called white man, whether it's the English, the German, the French, the Spaniards, because all those different European nations, which are all the so-called white men, the Portuguese, the Dutch, I'm saying, they're all the same. And they left their names, they spoke different languages, but they're the same people. They left their names for a curse unto the Most High chosen, is us Israelites. Understand? That's why we have these last names we have are not our true last names. They're names that were given to us by our slave masters. Because through the strategy to fulfill prophecy, they took our heritage from us. Understand? to this day. That's why, as the servants and messengers of the Most High, our duty is to go out and edify our people and let them know of these things, to bring them back to their true heritage. Go on.
And ye shall leave your name for a curse unto my chosen. For the Most High thy power shall slay thee.
The Most High said what? He's going to slay them. The Most High our power shall slay thee. He's talking to a particular people, the so-called white man. He shall slay thee, read.
And call his servants by another name.
And call his servants, what are the Most High servants again? Israelites, by another name. The Most High is going to slay our oppressors and call his servants, which are the Israelites, which we are, by another name. What is that name that the Most High is going to call us? Exactly. You see, you're picking up on it. You see what's going on. So he's going to call us by our two Hebrew Israelites again. Get Isaiah 1 and 10. Yeah, Isaiah 1 and 10.
The book of Hosea, chapter 1, verse 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
See that right now they call us minorities, right? As if you're insignificant. I will just a few. That's because we're scattered and divided. See, I mean, the Haitians know that the Dominicans are the same people. I'm saying the North American Indians and the Jamaicans and the Black Americans, we don't know that we're the same people. Even though we may have similar history, but we don't know that we are of the same nation originally. So we're so fragmented and disenfranchised and divided. We actually think we are minorities. We don't know that the so-called Mexicans and the so-called Negroes and the so-called West Indians and the Haitians and Cubans are actually of the same one nation. So we call ourselves minorities. When in fact we are, majorities. We are.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea. You have an idea what that's talking about? The sand of the sea. Yeah, God, because it's so much. We shall be as the sand of the sea. We ain't a minority. Read on.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Right, you can't number it. Read.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people.
And it shall come to pass in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people. Because what? In America, where the West Indies and Caribbean, basically anywhere we are, we don't consider the Most High's people. They call us people over there in Israel today, the real Jews. They're not the real Jews, they're the converts. The Europeans who converted to a heritage, stole no identity, and gave us those fake names we just read about in Isaiah 65. Understand? So we don't know who we are today. So they call us by those fake names. But the Most High said what? We shall be in the sand of the sea, and in the place where it said that we are not the Most High's people. Right now, our people out there think that they are Gentiles. What does Gentile mean? Gentile means what? Someone who is not of the Israelite nation. So our people in gross darkness are looking at themselves as being outcasts, as being not of the nation of Israel, as being the Gentiles. Because that's what the so-called white man did. In the process of time, hiding the truth from us and having us believe that we are not the Most High's people, when in fact we are. And having us looking up to the real Gentiles, who are really heathens, as if they are the Israelites and Jews that the Bible speaks of. And so read on.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it should be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
That's what's going to be said of us in these last days. And that's been happening. And it's going to continue to happen. It's going to be said that we are the sons of the Most High. You so-called niggas, who the ones called niggers, colors, and all those derogatory names, so you think nothing. They're going to recognize you are the real Jews.
That's right.
You are the nation the Mashiach Yahushua came from. Understand? You so-called Haitians, who they don't want to head to America, the old people, you're going to find that you are the real Jews, the Hebrew Israelites, the Levites, the tribe that Moses came from. Understand? That's all going to be disclosed in these last days. And they can't do nothing about it. Because even the old people, because the scripture tells you, when you see the Moses waking up the Hebrew Israelites, they're going to cleave to us. And they're going to even help to bring the word out. Read. Yes, that's it, right? Go back to Revelation. Are they here? The brothers here? Can't please? Not yet.
Most of us are here.
Huh?
Most of us are here.
Yeah, y'all can understand more.
Who's going to bring the camp out?
Yakinan.
Yakinan? Okay. Yakinan, are you ready anytime soon?
I'm waiting for Shimshon.
Oh, okay, you're for Shimshon? Okay, all right, keep good, brother.
You got EP.
We go back to Revelation.
Go back to Revelation, Shimshon is away, or what is this? Is he on his way, or you to contact him? Because I don't want to hold you up too much. If I could even get on and maybe get them my key. I'll get them my key till tomorrow.
It's just a key, actually. Yeah.
How many are okay? So, do you have any brothers for the camp? Huh? All right, so all right. Go look up more scriptures. If anything, we continue tomorrow. So at 10:09 right now. So you was out there for a couple of hours, something like that. You was at camp for a couple of hours. You learned it today? I got a marathon today.
Overtime.
OT. Okay, OT. Get a time and a half payment, huh? Trying to build up your treasures in heaven. Okay. All right, you look up more scriptures. I could do part 2 of this next week. What you got? As a matter of fact, let me read verse 6 again. Let me cap it off at that. I'm gonna do part 2 of this next week. Next class.
The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, which is basically in 1970 AD, into the west coast of Africa. Okay, read.
Where she had the place prepared of the Most High.
Which had the place prepared of the Most High, and from the west coast of Africa, the Israelites, through the transatlantic slave trade, were brought to the Americas and the Caribbean in 1620. The place where they were, that's a place that they are prepared of the Most High. Understand? The Americas, North America, Central and South America, and the Caribbean. 1620. Read.
And she should feed her there 1,203 score days.
That they should feed her there 1,203 score days. Okay, and that translated to 350 years. We know we were in captivity for 400 years. So that when the truths are coming out from 1620, the truths are coming out from about 1970. Okay, so we're gonna cap it off right there and continue part 2 of this and next Shabbat. So Revelation chapter 12, we read Revelation chapter 12, 1 through 6. We're going to continue from verse 7 again to the end of it. Most I willing next week. The brothers can get ready for the camp duty. The brothers can start showing up a little earlier. You know what I mean? So we try, like I said, today I know, it's kind of hard if you're going to set camp for a couple of hours or more. But if possible, so we can start class sometime at 7 o'clock. So we can basically probably finish the class. And so that's part 1 of Revelation chapter 12 and the timelines. Now, the Most High willing, next Shabbat we continue part 2. Okay. So we're going to say, Amadim Wapanya Yerushalayim, stand and face Jerusalem. Amashiach Spalal, the Lord's Prayer. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakavka, Kaba'ah, Atazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazar, Ka, Shabbat Shemayim, Atanawa, Lakam, Kol, Lawam, Wasalak Nawa, Lawam Nawa, Wasalak Nawa, Lawam Nawa, Wala'ah, Tabaya Nawa, Manasayawan, Abal, Awashan Nawa, Banrai, Kaya, Laka, Kamalakwa, Waha'ala, Wahatafa'ara, La'awalam, Ba'asham, Hamashiach, Awashad, the water of mud.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Amen.
I read it, like, I know enough, but I'm going to read it like more in detail.
What, the whole chapter?
The whole
book of Daniel?
The whole book, yeah. In detail.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, when you pointed me out to the chapters in Ezekiel, I saw a lot of comparisons to things that were said in Revelation 19.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
You got some of the properties of the Most High for the John Revelator.
Yeah.
You see a repetition.
Yeah.
You're gonna see like in Daniel.
Yeah, like the one I seen in Revelation. I forgot which. Ezekiel. Which chapter? When it says that man should be on the